Hello everyone. Today I am going to be showing you how to um, arrange the spring bulb planter, which is a take-home kit. When you receive your kit, it will be in a box, and everything that you need to complete the planting will be in the box for you. The only thing that you might want is a pair of nippers or scissors. And you could use a little garden trowel for the soil, but you do not need to. So this is the pot that you will receive. It is a beautiful Berg's Potter bulb pot, and you will also have a tray for your pot. So the first step is going to be, now yours will be in a bag, but there will be a bag of pebbles or grit for in the bottom of your planter. You will put the entire thing in there. So you'll start by putting that in there, and that is just to give really good drainage so your bulbs aren't sitting in wetness. The next step, actually what I should tell you is when you open up your box, you should take out all of your live plants, the bulbs, and give them a good water and let them sit for an hour or so to drink up that water. Everything is shipped pretty dry because we don't want everything in there being soggy or wet, and it's a little bit lighter also. So you will have watered your bulbs, and then you will have a container of potting soil. I suggest that you can put it in a garden trug or a bowl of some sort and add a little bit of water to it to get it just a little bit moist so it's not super dry. Okay, then you are going to put some of your garden soil into the bottom of your pot, leaving about 2 inches to the edge of the pot. Okay, now we will start adding our bulbs. So you will have in your pot, everything will be labeled. You will have a couple pots of tulips, and there are multiple tulips in each one of these pots. And you're just going to give the pot a little bit of squeeze, a little bit of shake, and look at those gorgeous roots on that. And it's okay if some of this soil falls away, but you are going to nestle those bulbs down in there. I like to put my tulips in the middle because they are going to be the tallest part of this planter. Again, gorgeous roots. I'm going to let some of this soil fall away just because it'll be easier to fit everything in here. So I have about 4 or 5 tulips in this planter now, and we are going to be packing these in here. So you're going to have to be a little bit, not aggressive, but you're going to have to get after them and get them in there good. Now, next you have some hyacinth. And the same thing, you're just going to squeeze off the pot. Check out those gorgeous roots. Everything is already kind of growing a bit. And we're going to tuck those in there. And spread these out a little bit so that they're not all in the same place. You know, spread the hyacinth out so they're not all grouped together. If you want, I guess if you want them together, that is your decision. And you can do that as well. But I like to kind of spread mine out a bit. And then lastly, you will have some daffodils. And you're just going to kind of give them a little push them down in there. You should have 1 or 2 daffodils in each one of these pots. And if you take a look at these daffs, they're already budding up. Let's see, this one's going to go right here. Okay, so everything is pretty tight in there, but that's the way you want it to get a nice, big, full, beautiful arrangement. So I may fill in a couple of spots with a little bit of potting soil, but you're not going to need much, because the next step is we are going to moss the top so that you don't see all the dirt, and it helps to hold the moisture in as well. So you're just going to grab some moss, and just in small pieces, you're going to tuck it in around your bulbs. And you can kind of like grab the bulb at the base where the greenery is coming out of the bulb, and kind of give it a little pull up while you push the moss down to help things settle in. And then when you water this moss, it'll help it to kind of settle down around the bulbs too. I like when the moss kind of hangs over the edge of the pot. I just think that gives it a really natural feel. And at this point, your greenery will just be poking up out of it. There shouldn't be any flowers yet, because we want this to bloom in your house. We don't want it to be blooming when you get it, because then it won't last as long in your home. So it's normal and natural that you only have greenery at this point. I need 1 more little bit of moss there. Okay, so that's what we have now. The next step, this is where you might need your nippers if you have them. You will have some birch twigs, and these are just to give a little bit of structure, a little bit of interest. We're just going to nip them off at whatever length that you prefer and stick them in your pot. It'll help give your flowers a little bit of support when they start getting taller. And it's just a little bit something fun to look at right now while there's not a whole lot of greenery. I'm going to cut this one down just a little bit. And you can do as much or as little of this as you want. In fact, if you have twigs in your own landscape that you would like to use, you may not have birch in your kit. It could very well be birch, but it might also be pussy willow. It just depends on what I have an abundance of when you purchase this pot. So I like the birch twigs. Might be red dogwood. That's beautiful as well. And pussy willow would be gorgeous as well. So there we have it. There's our bulb pot. And one more step now. We are going to, where are we going to do this? We are going to nestle in a little nest of some feathers and some eggs. So, because what is spring without some birds? So we're just going to put these, just going to tuck them in here. Let's see, like this. I don't know about you guys, but at this time of the year, I am just loving any time I hear the birds outside. And there's our little nest of eggs. There you have it. That is your spring bulb planter. At this point, I will give it a nice watering until it is draining out the bottom, just to make sure all the soil is wet and all the bulbs are happy and settled in there. And this will help settle in your moss. And then once the water is done draining out the bottom, I would put it in your sink for that. When the water is done draining out the bottom, then you can place it in your saucer. This is a glazed saucer. It's got a glazing on the inside, so it's safe to put on your table. It won't damage it. Maybe you want to put maybe 3 or 4 little felt stickies on the bottom so that it doesn't scratch. But that is our spring bulb planter. Thank you guys. I hope you love it. Have fun making them.